no place like the Q. Family, this is your favorite queer radio personality, Anna DeShawn, and this is Queer News, your favorite weekly news pod where race and sexuality meet politics, culture, and entertainment. This is your number one stop for queer news done right, only on E3 Radio.
I always be now and then meet these young people that don't have nobody that wants to stick by them and help them, you know. So I help them out with like a place to stay or some food to eat or a little change for their pocket. And they don't never forget it. A lot of times I've reached my hand out to younger people in the gay community that just didn't have nobody to help them out and they were down and out.
And she would take her last $2. Willie once said to me, we only had $2 and we bought a box of cookies. And you know, by the time we walked down to the river, Marge had given away all the cookies that we had spent our last $2 on. The reason for that is because Marcia had been hungry, had lived on the streets, and she knew that a chocolate chip cookie to a starving queen was a great gift.
Marsha. That was Marsha P. Johnson. And on August 24th, it would have been her 80th birthday. So we remember her today on this podcast because how she took care of folks, how she took care of her community, how she showed up so unapologetically during that time is how we must take care of each other today. You feel me? Mm-hmm. QCrew, thank you. 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 I don't know. I just felt like singing. You know, I just am just full of gratitude that you all believe in this podcast, that you give every single month. When I understand what's happening economically in this country right now, you are making a conscious decision to give towards this work that I care so deeply about, which also means you care so deeply about it too. And for that, I truly cannot say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, enough. I really can't. I really can't. Thank you. You cover the cost of Ryan, right? You're helping to cover my costs. And truly, family, if you're listening to this pod and you believe in the work we do, if you believe LGBTQ stories need to be amplified, if you love and respect how I report on the news, please consider joining the QCrew, okay? I'll sing for you too. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. And family, don't forget about our Queer News tip line, okay? Do you have a local news story? Are you a queer org and you want other folks to know about you? Are you an artist? You got a song coming out, a queer artist, okay? Send in your queer news tip. I love hearing them and I love sharing them with our pod community. Info on how to submit is in the show notes. Now for the news. In politics, Illinois launches the nation's first statewide LGBTQIA plus resource hub and legal hotline. But in Washington, the Trump administration delivers one of the harshest attacks yet on transgender healthcare. Down in Florida, the state quietly erases the Pulse nightclub Rainbow Crosswalk in the dead of night. But family, the community showed up. We're gonna talk about it. In culture and entertainment, Lil Nas X is hospitalized again. Billy Porter steps boldly into the beauty world with a line called Black Mona Lisa Beauty. And conservatives somehow find a way to blame us, the queers, for the Cracker Barrel's new logo. Sometimes truth is truly stranger than fiction, for real. Let's get into it, family. Family, let's start with some good political news for a change. Let's do it. This news is coming out of my home state of Illinois. And Amid all of the political attacks and rollbacks that I've been reporting on, and honestly, I have to report on in this episode, I'm just glad some good queer news is still happening. My Governor JB Pritzker has announced the launch of Illinois Pride Connect, a brand new statewide resource hub and the very first legal hotline of its kind in the nation dedicated to LGBTQIA plus people. Family, this initiative is led by the Illinois Department of Human Services in partnership with some of our larger and some of our truly most impactful community-led organizations like Equality Illinois, Brave Space Alliance, Lambda Legal, and the Legal Council for Health Justice. Now, what does all of this mean and what does this resource hub offer? Okay, so two things that are so incredibly important. First, a digital resource hub filled with know your rights information, FAQs, and connections to affirming community services. And second, this hub offers a live legal hotline for anyone in Illinois. They can call for free legal advice on everything from changing your name and gender markers to housing, healthcare, and education rights. They have categorized the resources into 6 different categories, family, okay? Healthcare, school and education rights, immigration, vital records and ID documents, family protection and elder rights, and lastly, a category for general resources. I went digging, okay? That's my job. I went digging around, and this resource is actually incredibly helpful. I cannot count how many times I've been asked for resources, but I can only share what I know. And this is true for everybody. People can only share what they've been exposed to. And I've always felt like there was so much more going on, and I just didn't know. Well, this is all changing now because this hub is really comprehensive. For example, under school and education rights, you can find a fact sheet about bullying in the Chicago public schools, and you can learn your rights. And this fact sheet is not just available in English, it's also available in Spanish. Or like under general resources, I looked there too. And there is a link to housing programs for minors and people with disabilities. This is really an impressive hub that I think a lot of people are going to find incredibly helpful. Governor Pritzker said it best, Illinois is fighting ignorance with information and cruelty with compassion. Now, all of this was able to take place because it was backed by both state and philanthropic dollars, okay? IL Pride Connect is proof that even in this hostile federal climate, states can still protect their LGBTQ plus residents. And honestly, I hope more states follow suit. And so for anyone who's listening right now and you live in Illinois, okay, the Resource Hub is live at ilprideconnect.org. And the hotline, that legal hotline we talked about earlier, is open Monday through Thursday at 855-805-9200. That is 855-805-9200. And it's open from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. It felt really good to report on some good news. This is refreshing. Now, in other political news that truly isn't so refreshing, the Trump administration has announced one of the most sweeping rollbacks of transgender healthcare access in U.S. history. And I promise y'all, every week, I wonder how low can he go? And then he reveals a brand new low. On Friday, the Office of Personnel Management, sent a letter to insurance companies stating that starting in 2026, all federal employee health plans will be banned from covering gender-affirming care, hormone therapy, surgeries, all the things you can think about. The ban applies to more than 10 million federal employees, retirees, postal workers and their families. For the first time, adults as well as youth will be cut off from coverage. And I'm just going to pause real quick from the reporting of this story and just say, this is a prime example of their strategy working. And when I say that, I mean, they started with youth with the full intention of banning gender-affirming care for absolutely everybody. And here we are, with them sending a letter to insurance companies announcing this ban starting in 2026 for absolutely everyone. And in good MAGA fashion, they never stop just there, okay? They are always going to push for more and just see how far they can go. And in this letter that they sent to the insurers, they also told them that they have to cover what they deemed, quote, faith-based counseling for gender dysphoria. And what do we all know as queers is faith-based counseling? I heard you. Conversion therapy. You are right. Conversion therapy, one of the most harmful practices ever enacted against LGBTQ folks from the church. What is this going to do? It is going to directly impact how trans folks show up in the world. Legal advocates are, of course, preparing to fight back. That's all we can do in this moment. Every time they do something, we have to fight back. Lambda Legal has condemned this move as unconstitutional, as illegal, citing protections under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act and Section 1557 of the Affordable Care Act, both of which prohibit discrimination on the basis of sex and gender identity. Lambda Legal's counsel and healthcare strategist Omar Gonzalez-Pagan said, quote, "The federal government cannot simply strip away essential healthcare coverage from transgender employees while providing comprehensive medical care to all other workers. We will not stand by while the government tramples on the civil rights of hardworking transgender public servants." Family, the policy arrived just months after the Supreme Court's decision in U.S. versus Skermetti. Do you all remember when we talked about U.S. versus Skermetti back in June, where the Supreme Court ruled that Tennessee could continue to discriminate against trans youth? Do y'all remember that case? And we talked about then how that was just going to open the door for states and the federal government to deny gender-affirming care, period. Because then they wouldn't be violating equal protection rights, because now there was a Supreme Court precedent. So, they're exploiting it. They're exploiting that ruling, as we all knew that they would, and they are going to continue to exploit this ruling to work in their favor. That's the whole point. For many trans federal workers and their families, this announcement creates just an impossible choice: their livelihoods or their identities. Child, our identities are our livelihoods. It's how we show up in the world. Impossible is not even the word. It's detrimental. It's devastating. It also sends a chilling message to closeted employees, child, to stay in the closet, okay? That's the message. Because right now, it is not safe to be out in the federal government. That's for sure. We know lawsuits are expected. We know the battle is coming. And we'll keep following. We're going to keep following it here on the Queer News Podcast, because y'all need to know. Family, I really do hope you enjoy my rants from time to time. As a journalist who was trained to report on the facts and to be bipartisan and to provide both sides, child, I am so over it. And in the beginning of this podcast, it was really hard for me to find my voice in that. And then I had to realize that's what podcasting was made for. It was made for information. And child, in this podcast, part of the information is also my opinion. So I really do hope y'all enjoy them from time to time, because sometimes I can't even find this script. I'm just so far off of it. Okay, Ryan just makes it sound great. But let's get on to this next story. And let's talk about Ron DeSantis' Florida. Because the people gathered and they fought back to respond against the administration's coward disbehavior after they quietly erased part of the Orlando Pulse nightclub memorial. That happened literally in the middle of the night. The Florida Department of Transportation painted over the rainbow crosswalk outside of Pulse. And you all know today, Pulse is an LGBTQ landmark that was created in 2017 to honor the 49 lives that were stolen in 2016 in one of the deadliest massacres in U.S. history. And by the time the Florida Department of Transportation had finished, that rainbow crosswalk, part of the Pulse Memorial, had turned into a plain black and white lined crosswalk. For the survivors of Pulse, city leaders, and LGBTQ plus advocates, the timing and the secrecy felt like betrayal, especially considering Ron DeSantis had the nerve in 2017 to show up at the Pulse Memorial, speak and sign it, acknowledge that it was LGBTQ hate that caused all that harm. State Representative Anna Escamani said the removal was, quote, incredibly shameful, pointing out that the state didn't even notify Orlando officials beforehand. State Senator Carlos Guillermo Smith went further, calling it, quote, an illegal act of vandalism by the DeSantis administration. Brandon Wolf, who we've had on this show, who survived the shooting at Pulse and lost his friends that night, went to social media and said, quote, in the dark of night, they came to erase our show of solidarity. The cowards who feel threatened by our lives should feel lucky they didn't have to bury the ones they love. Orlando's mayor blasted the move as a cruel political act, stressing that the crosswalk wasn't just a symbol, it was also improved pedestrian safety. Advocates point out that research shows colorful crosswalks can actually make streets safer. Well, of course, the state defended the action, saying it was part of a broader policy to, quote, standardize roadway markings and avoid what they call political messages on roads. Oh, okay, but DeSantis can call a road after Rush Limbaugh. He did that. That's not political at all, right? Okay, the state claims that they are just following the federal directive announced last month under the Trump administration, which ordered states to remove rainbow crosswalks nationwide. Well, Equality Florida decided to fight back. They put out an all call for folks who stand with Pulse, who stand with the LGBTQ plus community, to show up at the Pulse Memorial and fight back. People brought their chalk and they began to draw the rainbow crosswalk back into the street. Within hours of its removal, they gathered there. They raised their voices, and led by Nadine Smith, who is just an absolute legend, okay? In the call for folks to act, she said, Ron DeSantis tried to erase us. Instead, he reignited our call to action. And that's what we must do, family. Even when we feel tired, we have to use their attacks as fuel to fight back and to stand together. That is what we must do. I think it's a great time to take a quick break, huh? Let's do that. And when we get back, let's get into some culture and entertainment. 6 days. 6 days left to be a part of history, to own a living archive, to hear queer news on vinyl. That's right. You've got 6 days left, family, to be a part of history. Pick up your album today. The link is in the show notes. Chicago. The Office of the City Clerk is launching its Mobile City Hall initiative to bring local services directly to your neighborhood. Residents will have the opportunity to get a free city key, purchase their city stickers, residential parking permits, and dog licenses at Mobile City Hall. Mobile City Hall will be in 7 different locations this August and September. To find the location nearest to you, visit shycityclerk.com. Mobile City Hall, bringing city government to you.
Mental health parity is the law requiring that your health insurance coverage for mental health or substance use disorders is no more restrictive than coverage for your physical health. Learn more about mental health parity laws at getcoveredillinois.gov.
You've got the drive, you've got the ideas. Now it's time to cash in. We have a promotion that Focal Point has never done before. Dulcie has gone crazy with this one. The heat has gotten to her, and you want to sign up now before she comes to her senses. Now imagine, family, if you could get paid for your goal achievement. No fluff, no filler, just real strategy, real wins, and your money back. If you're done with distractions and ready to start seeing the payoff your hustle deserves, sign up and make the next 90 days count. Get focused, get paid. Welcome to Focal Point. Enroll now at focalpoint4u.com. That's Focal Point, the number 4, the letter U.com. Welcome back to the show, family. Now, in culture and entertainment news, we need to talk about Lil Nas X.
Nah. Hey, don't
up?
be late to the party tonight.
Where at?
You know where it's at. Nah, go ahead, babe. Nah. I am serving you, and you better be at that party tonight. Oh, yeah. That's gonna be a beautiful sunrise. Give me that phone so I can throw it. I want to throw it far away so you never see it again. I don't like phones. Don't miss the party tonight. Why are you still here? You need to be telling everybody about the party, girl. What's your problem?
Yeah, that was him. That was Lil Nas X on Thursday morning around 4 a.m. walking through the streets of Los Angeles. And child, I watched the video. Only thing he had on was his whitey tighties, and I mean that literally, and some white cowboy boots. I didn't read any reports that shared how long he had been walking in the streets, but multiple people reported it and a couple recorded him and took pictures. I'm sure the folks that took the videos and the pictures got paid very nicely from TMZ for their coverage. Now, all of this comes months after Lil Nas X opened up about the toll the last few years have taken on him. He did a video back in February where he admitted he's been flaky and a little all over the place, just saying that the last few years have been pretty difficult. And he's been starting to feel confident again and wanted to be more intentional about his music and his vision. But you all remember when I reported just a month or two ago that he was in the hospital, the right side of his face was paralyzed. Do y'all remember that? And he also shared how he was just going to step back a bit from fame and give him some space to live more quietly, right? And try to reconnect with himself outside of the celebrity. And every time something like this happens, family, I just want us all to remember he is 26 years old. He came to fame and to money at such a young age. It all happened so fast. And he has been so out and so unapologetic with his music, with his art, with how he shows up on social media. And fame also equates to isolation. It equates to isolation. Your life is never quote unquote normal again. And it's a really strange thing when you're at that level of celebrity. And I know many of us have no compassion for them because of how much money they make. But let me tell you, I am certain so many would exchange some of it for just being able to walk through the grocery store without being asked to take a picture. But alas, when the cops finally arrived, they say Lil Nas X charged at them. And so they booked him on charges of battery on a peace officer. The paramedics also transported him to a hospital where he was reported for a possible overdose before he was discharged and taken into custody. I just want him to win so bad. And so I hope he finds a way to break through all of this and find his joy again. Family, in more culture and entertainment news, Billy Porter, okay, has stepped into the beauty world, and he is on a mission. Y'all know Billy, okay? He's an Emmy Award winner, a Grammy Award winner, a Tony Award-winning star, okay? And now he has launched his first ever beauty line. It's called Black Mona Lisa Beauty, and is named after his 5th studio album. His beauty line includes a collection, okay, that mixes skincare and makeup, featuring ingredient-conscious products like a kale cleanser. Okay, that sounds like something folks would like. And this line is also meant to be gender-free. Billy talks about how his love for skincare began when he was just 14 years old, walked into a department store in Pittsburgh and asked for a full face regimen at the Clinique counter, okay? And he said moisturizing then just became second nature. And over the years, beauty became a way to explore his identity. And I think this is true for so many gay men, truly. And that exploration is never easy because of the expectations this society has on men, period. Porter admits there were times when he wanted to wear lipstick, but held back because of what society expected. And when asked what his favorite products were from the line, he told the good people, okay, the shimmer, the liquid shimmer, the kale face cleanser, and the rose gold oil, okay? So if you go to Black Mona Lisa Beauty and you're wondering what to get, maybe you start with a few of Billy's favorites. And for Billy, this is just the beginning. He wants to be a mogul in the beauty space. He thinks this is going to go far beyond beauty. He's thinking clothing, he's thinking accessories, he's even thinking home goods, okay? And as he says, anything and everything is possible. So you can start shopping the collection today. Visit blackmonalisabeauty.com. Now for our last story today. Did you hear the news that queer folks are the reason Cracker Barrel changed their logo? I almost can't say that without laughing. I mean, it's just so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous that it's tired, right? The alt-right have been in a tizzy since Cracker Barrel removed the barrel and the old white man from their logo. Now conservatives have found a way to blame us. They give us so much credit. Now, their theory goes that back in the 90s, Cracker Barrel was openly anti-gay. They were actually firing employees for being queer. It's on the record. Yeah, they really did that. Now, over time, they've made small steps to try to clean up their image. And let me just tell you, as someone living here with all the identities, they've had racial problems too. Okay? They've been trying to clean up all the images for all the people for many years. Now, when it comes to the queer folks, they have started celebrating Pride, and they allowed LGBTQ employees to start an employee resource group, okay? But let's be clear. When it comes to the HRC's Corporate Equality Index, they still only have a score of 30 out of 100, okay? So it is still not great at Cracker Barrel. Now, the right have found out that one former employee back in the year 2019 volunteered on HRC's Business Advisory Council while working at Cracker Barrel, okay? And now right-wing outlets like Upward News have taken that information as proof that the new logo is the culmination of decades of woke reforms. Family, they are pulling from one employee in 2019 as the reasons the queers have informed the new design of the Cracker Barrel logo. The ridiculousness. You know, sometimes you just got to laugh like, what? Family, they should just say they don't like the new logo. They should just say, we wanted to keep the barrel and the white man. And stop using this word woke for clickbait. It is just so tired. I mean, Charlie Kirk jumped in this conversation talking about this is like Bud Light's backlash in 2023. Y'all remember that? You know, the trans beauty influencer Dylan Mulvaney's collaboration with Bud Light and Kid Rock now shooting Bud Lights. Y'all remember that? Charlie Kirk is comparing this Cracker Barrel situation to that. Let me tell y'all something though. Cracker Barrel CEO says the new look is simply about keeping the brand relevant for today and tomorrow. Family, I think the point of this story is just never forget how much power you have, okay? Because they'll even think that you'd informed a whole corporation to change their logo when you ain't said a doggone thing about no Cracker Barrel. But I do like them dumplings, though. I do like them dumplings. Family, you know what time it is. It's time for Anna's Got a Word because Anna's always got a word. And my word today is live. Live. That's what I want you to do. On this here podcast, I try to give you a balance, okay? Because there are good things happening. But let us not forget the world is in fact on fire, okay? And the best thing we can do in our own lives is to show up and to live and to do what we are called to do. Even if you can't do it 100% of the time, you can't make that risk, can't make that sacrifice, understandable. Do what you can to ensure that you are living the best life you can possibly live. We get one around here, from my understanding, okay? And please, just don't forget to live. We need you here. Till next time, family. Peace.
Queer News, Queer News, Queer News.
If you've enjoyed what you heard, rate and review us inside your favorite podcasting app. This podcast is written and produced by me, Anna DeShawn. Podcast editing by Ryan Woodhall. And brought to you by E3 Radio and distributed on The Cube. We are Queer News Done Right.